Good afternoon, everybody. It is so good to get to talk to you again. I sure do miss seeing you, though. I would love to have some time to get together. Um, we will continue like this for a while, though, and that's okay. We can still get a lot of learning in, as they say. I want to talk to you about day 18. This will be for this will be a statistics lesson. Kind of go back and remind ourselves of a few of the few important words and reading some graphs and things. First of all, I want to point out to you at the top of the page in Google Classroom, you will see this note. Every day it's at the top of the page and it reminds you to watch the video first. This will actually be blue and underlined, which means the link is there. You just have to click right there to open the video. That works every single day. Some of you are probably thinking, Mrs. McCartney, I already knew that, otherwise I wouldn't be watching this video. But it's just a reminder that it's there every single day. This problem says each histogram shows the bowling scores for the last 25 games played by each person. So we have 4 persons A, B, C, and D. And your job is to choose 2 of these people that you would like to have bowl with you. Obviously, you are wanting to win. And so we want to know which 2 people you would like to have bowling on your team. At the bottom of this page, there are 2 statements in red, and they say the same thing. Once it says, I would select person blank. So you put A, B, C, or D there to join my bowling team because, and then you're going to tell us why. Second statement is the same thing because you're supposed to choose 2 people that you would like to have bowl on your team. So in an effort to help us out with this, let's talk about a few things. First of all, these graphs are a little bit blurry, a little bit hard to read. They are histograms. Remember the bars on histograms touch. And the reason for that is because where the first bar ends, the second bar picks up. So there aren't any numbers in between there. In this case, bowling scores from, this represents, I believe this is from 80 to 89. And so this one picks up at 90. And this tells us how many. This is frequency. So this tells us that, I believe that's a 6, that's a 5 there. So there were 5 games out of the last 25 games. 5 of them, this person scored between an 80 and an 89. And then we go to here, and so this is about a 4. There were 4 games that this person scored between a 90 and a 99. So it tells us how many of that range of scores, that small set of scores, because that bar represents a range from like 80 to 89, 90 to 99, 100 to 109, and so forth. Just to give us a little frame of reference, it looks like right here is 100. So this is where a score of 100 would be. It looks like 200 is right about here. And then 300 is up here. And for those of you who don't know, a 300 over here is a perfect score. That's the highest score that you can get when you bowl. And that means that you got to strike every single time. In other words, you knock down all 10 pins every time you roll the ball. Of course, the other end is something that I would be more likely to do, which is to get a gutter ball every time and score a 0. No, I don't usually make a 0, but to break 100 is a really good day. Let's just say that. A 300 is, well, a girl can dream, but I've never bowled anywhere near a 300. but that would be a perfect score. So let's talk about a little bit more about what we're going to be looking at here. For each one of these, they give us the mean, the median, the standard deviation, and the interquartile range for each of the 4 individuals. So I want to remind us very quickly what each of these are. The mean, also known as the arithmetic mean, is our average. If we took all 25 scores and we added them together and we divided by 25, we would get the average score that that person made. So this person is averaging a little under 119 points per game. This person is averaging about 131 points per game. This person 134, almost 134, and this one is averaging almost 117 points a game. So it tells you their average score. The second one is the median. You probably remember the median is the one where you put all of the scores in order from the lowest to the highest, and then you find the one in the middle. You work your way into the middle. Now there are 25 scores, so that means if this middle score is 111, then there were 12 times that this person scored below 111 points, and 12 times that this person scored above 111 points, which that left 111 to be in the middle. This little guy or gal had a median of 129. So 12 scores would have been below 129, and 12 scores would have been above 129, and the 129 would have been right in the middle. Then standard deviation. This is one that you don't hear a whole lot about. Standard deviation tells us how close together the numbers are. So the smaller the standard deviation, then the closer all of the scores would be to that mean score, that average score. And if you have a larger standard deviation, then the scores are more spread out. You're going to have some, of course, around the mean, but you're going to have a bunch that go on either side of that. They're going to be spread out more. So take a look. We can see from this picture that all these scores are really close together. So you would expect the standard deviation to be a pretty small number because the scores are close together. So we look over here at standard deviation, and sure enough, it's a very low number. It's 8.64. Take a look at this little guy right here. His scores are spread out. You got some down here, I think it starts at like 60, and then you got some up here above 200. So they're very spread out. And his standard deviation is 45. So it's a lot more than this standard deviation where these are really, really close together. That's what the standard deviation tells us. And then the last one they give us is the interquartile range. In case you don't remember, we've actually studied this one, but in case you don't remember, if you were to take all of these numbers and actually list them out, when you find that middle number, we said it would be the median. So if we were going to make a box and whisker plot, our median would go right here. We would have our number line down here, and our median would go here. And then our very lowest score would be out here somewhere. That's our minimum. And the very highest score would be out here somewhere, our maximum. And then we would take the numbers that are listed between the minimum and the median, and we would find the middle number again. So find the median between here and here, and that would be our Q1 or quartile 1. And then we would find the median between the median of the whole set and the maximum, and that would be our Q3. And so if we made a box and whisker plot, this would be our box, and we would whisker here and here. Well, our interquartile range is how long is the box. And so for this particular set of data, our box, the score that would be right here and the score that would be right here, when we subtracted this one from this one, we would get that this box is 44 long, 44 units long. So the difference between this score and this score is 44. Now these are really, really close together. So again, our interquartile range, our box is going to be a very, very short box. Might be even shorter than that. It might be as short as this because our, again, we would have the minimum score is not very far away. The maximum score is not very far away. So we have a really tiny little box. So this box from this score to this score is only 8 units difference. All the scores are really close together. So that's what that interquartile range tells us. That middle 50% of the scores, because remember this split it into 25% for each piece of our box until we got our box and whisker. Whoops, that's a 5. 25%. So the whole thing from minimum to maximum is 100%. So this is the middle 50% where that falls. So using that information, I want you to decide which of these 2 people would you like having on your team? Person A, person B, person C, person D. You get to pick 2 of them. So I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. Don't forget, you have to tell me why. What part of this information is it that makes you think, hey, that's going to be a good person to be on my team? So let's see. Let's see what you come up with. I'm excited. Anxious to see you. Glad to help you out. Take care.